So on YouTube, we're always trying to just anticipate our viewer, make really great videos, and really grow and expand. And that's where success comes from. And for me, I'm really excited about this live stream. I'm going to interview Angelia, and I'm really impressed with her, basically what she's been doing, because she's one of the most creative people that I've ever come across. And what I do love is her desire to really make content and really, yes, do this full time. And I think a lot of you that are watching this right now, maybe are full time or have the hopes to be full time or make this the gig. And what I love is we can be who we want to be and create what we want to create. And if it brings value, if it can really bring value, you can build a business around it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on in a second. But if you're new to me, I'm Daryl Eves. I've been on YouTube literally since October of 2005. I've seen pretty much everything that's gone on YouTube. I've worked with the biggest brands, YouTubers on the planet, and I just love content. I love content creators. More importantly, I love helping content creators really understand the gift that God's given them and then really amplify that gift for the world. And so really, really grateful to have Angelia and Waggy on. How you guys doing?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us on.
I'm really excited about this for a couple reasons. It's because when I see content, I see content that was literally made for the internet. It was just like, okay, if there's ever an internet screaming type of content, Angelia, it's your content. like there's just still no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And for those that are looking, hey, there's a niche for anything, and yours actually screams pretty hard for me because I don't know what's going on in that brain of yours, but it makes me laugh every single time. It just does. So I'm grateful that you're able to both come on and share value, because our goal here is just to have conversations that people can learn and maybe connect the dots that they didn't know, and ultimately go into the next level. Just jump to that next level wherever they may be. So just out of the gate, would you just give a little bit of background, both of you, of how you got started and what led you to be on YouTube?
Yeah, so me and Wiggy are both high school dropouts.
Yeah.
So and it was definitely like I was working 2 jobs in high school, anyway. So when I got out, I really decided that I wanted to be like some form of like entrepreneur or, to go into business or anyway. So then TikTok came out around that same time. So like 2019. And so I started an e-commerce brand called Ulta Smile, and I was able to get like this toothbrush company to like 250,000 like followers on there. And it was fun, but I kind of started realizing that I didn't really like making sales content. I liked making entertainment content.
Right.
And so after about like 3 or 4 years of doing that and really growing the channel, I was like, and mind you, I was posting 1 to 3 TikToks every day for like months on end. Like they're all wiped now, and so then I was like, you know what? I'm watching these Mr. Beast interviews. I just want to make money just on YouTube. Like I just want to make money from making fun entertainment content. And that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, while she was doing the whole content stuff, when out of high school, I went straight into the military for 5 years. I was in military intelligence, went to Afghanistan during the whole pullout of Afghanistan. So that was kind of cool. But the whole time while she was doing that, I was helping her really just support her, like push her to make sure that she keeps wanting to do the things that she wants to do. When she switched from Ulta Smile to YouTube, it was actually a really hard decision for her to make. And I kept trying to push her to be like, hey, you should be doing the thing that you enjoy the most and not worrying about any of this other stuff. Yeah. So it was a big push for me to make her do that. So I'm glad she ended up following through with it. You know what I mean? And then once I got
how many toothbrush things that she could do. I mean, like at the end of the day,
that's pretty much. She was your limits.
Like it's going to suck all ounces of creativity out, But that's where I'm at. I think all of us are in a situation, unique to us, right? And what I love about YouTube is there's this huge opportunity. If you're willing to put forth energy and effort, there's this huge opportunity. Like just because YouTube exists. I think, Angelia, when you heard, mate, I just want to create content. If I can make a business out of that, that's great. Right. And, hearing interviews of people that inspired you led to take action. And what was it a clean rip and then you just went all in? Or did you say, okay, I got to slowly build, up my audience and, kind of replace my income over here? Like, how was that transition?
So pretty much the goal was to get like one last big blow up of sales on Ultimo, because like any creator business, or at least for that kind of stuff, was very up and down. So it was like get one more big viral and then use that and like pay off the debts of the business, and then it was all in. It was all in.
And it was so stressful too, because at the time I was just about to get out of the military. I probably only had like 6 months left, and I was the one that supplemented most of the income at that time. Yeah. So literally she got a blow up. It was literally like probably like 3 months before I got out, and I was like, thank God. Okay.
I got monetized in 3 months.
Thank God she got monetized.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's a big step. There's different types of creators that are out there. The ones that are like just clean slate. Hey, we're going all in, I'm going to make it or break it type thing. And then there's some that just do it when they do replace their income. And then others that are like, wait, I don't know if this is going to come or go. I got to hit a certain number and I got to make sure this is real. And I found in every scenario, it's right for them. Right. But I think the difference is when you wake up in the morning, what do you want to do? And the ones that actually want to create content and want to put that out for the world, I find that they tend to actually, have a little bit more success. Those that just focus in on popularity or the income from YouTube don't necessarily see that immediately, because that passion for content maybe not be there. They just might be the money side or whatever. And so I like to look at this. It's like, whatever your passion is, you can make money on YouTube. I 1000% agree with that, right? But then it's like building it upon business principles. Like you got to do it in a business principles way to really succeed. And so what was kind of the first breakout for you where you're like, oh, I'm posting on YouTube. This is getting interesting. We actually got some money in the bank now. When was that? Like in the journey of the channel?
So it was probably like the Photoshop video. I turned YouTubers into their logos was the first big video that got any kind of traction. Like I think it got like, but it still took a long time to take off. Like it wasn't like this instant. None of my videos until recently have been these videos that instantly take off.
I gotta show the thumbnail, because to this day it just makes me laugh every single time. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick. You can see right here, Mr. Beast. Okay, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's really good. That's really good. You're speaking to me on a very, very warped, deep level, which I love. So that was about a year ago that it took off, and was it just like, oh, okay, this is going to work, or like what was going through your mind? And then two, what did you think life was going to be like after that as a content creator?
Okay, well, firstly, I thought as soon as I hit 100,000 views, like my life, like I would be like this multi-billionaire, like superstar. I don't know. I really just thought, oh,
you're delusional. But anyway, yes.
I literally thought one viral video, I'm set for life. Yeah. And like, I didn't realize like, oh no, you have to like put a bunch of these out. You have to be even better.
The first one really, I mean, it's cool or whatever, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Even me, when she first had that video, I was in Louisiana at the time. And I remember we celebrated, she got 10K subs, and I went to the field for 2 months, came out, and she was at 100K. And I was like, oh my God, we're famous. So then I'm showing out all my soldiers. I'm showing my bosses, like, we're famous now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to lie. That's a cool feeling. I remember the first time I hit 100K subs, it was just like, okay, I got that silver play button coming. I'm really excited about that. But realistically, and this is where I think a lot of content creators really get frustrated. It's like, then you have to be consistent, right? You get one hit, okay, great. You might get 100,000 subs, 1 million subs, but it's like, can we get the viewers to come back? So what did you learn from your Photoshop video of making Jimmy look like his logo. How did you actually look at, okay, how do I need to create content? Do you feel like you need to only create Photoshop content, or was there other content you're trying to weave in? What was your strategy at the time?
So I did like doing Photoshop content, but I kind of wanted to start going into more IRL stuff because that was like always the plan. Like I always wanted to be like, not just in the Photoshop niche. Like I would look at people in the Photoshop niche and be like, because Ryan does it really well. He'll jump out of niches very
Right.
quickly, but you're there for Ryan. And like, that's kind of always what in my mind, how I kind of saw it. But that pop off, I don't know. It really changed, like, especially because that was the first video where I had found that idea a very specific way. And it was actually from an outlier of someone else, but it wasn't even like they made a Photoshop video, but I just noticed that they got this huge influx of views for very little subscribers. And so it like
Right.
clicked for me. I was like, oh, I should make a really cool Photoshop video that's like the white background and just the logos. And so that was the first, I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't put a name to it, like, oh, outliers or,
Right.
research into like, yeah. And I would just make videos that I thought were cool before. And so that was the first time. And then once it actually hit and I knew it was a great video, I was like, oh, okay, I got to actually make videos that people want to watch. I can't just make what I feel like that day. I actually have to cater to people.
Yeah, to do some research.
I definitely want to dig into that because, like, I've worked with a lot of creators, and I do believe that you can actually just wake up and create, and there will be an audience for it, and you don't necessarily need to even think about the audience. However, that being said, you have to have a very strict discipline to be around a certain type of content, and if you are, I think you can succeed. However, that being said, it's far easier to understand who you're making content for, and then that passion. As long as you have the passion of creating, something similar, and they have a passion to watch it, and there's something of value that's there, whether it's education, inspiration, entertainment, whatever that may be, and that you're consistent with it, then they come to know and love you. Because it's like, I think you can get to a point where they just see your face, they're clicking on it. It doesn't matter what title, thumbnail it is, because there's that no love and trust factor. But starting out, there's not. And so it's just more about that consistency. And so did you feel like, a year ago plus, do you feel like you had a good understanding of who your audience was? Was it just more, oh, I just wake up and want to create? Like, what was that?
But we thought we did.
Yeah, I thought I had an idea of an audience. I kind of just realized that I think at the time, I just wanted to see a big number. I just wanted a video to go viral. It didn't really matter what audience watched it. I just wanted the number to be bigger.
Yeah.
And so
the biggest thing was we were more focused on ideas than we were about our audience. And I think that's where the disconnect was, is because we were like, we need a bigger and better, cooler idea. And that's where like the clear foods came into play, because it was like, nobody's done this before. And it did get views. It did get clicks. However, that wasn't for the audience or the avatar that we were thinking of. So because of that, a lot of those people didn't stay after watching that video. And that was the biggest issue that we had.
Yeah.
Well, I think, too, one of the great conversations I had with Mr. Beast, who you made his face look like his logo, we were having a conversation about ideation, and we'd come through all these ideation. And I had this banger idea, and there was a great idea, and he loved it, and it went on and so on. And, so I started feeding ideas of different things like that. And we had one where he had an opportunity to, take over YouTube for a day or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that could be a really cool video. And, you could be the CEO, blah, blah, blah. And what I do love, and I think there's a brainstorm where you don't get critical. You just kind of throw it out there. We were in that stage. And then you have to filter those ideas by looking at it through the lens of who your viewer is. And I really remember saying, okay, now let's take it through the lens of the viewer. And we talked about who the viewer was and is, and then he literally says, there's no kid in middle school, high school that knows what a CEO is. And if they do, they don't really understand it, and it's not as sexy, blah, 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 blah. So even though it was a great idea, it's like not meant to be made. And the reason why is because if they don't understand it, there's a disconnect. There's too much you have to lead to kind of explain everything that goes on. You know, and yeah, we could have probably reframed it, but you know, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But like for me, I always like to do the ideation and then look at it through the lens of the viewer.
Mhm.
And tell me about that for you. So you thought you knew the viewer, you thought you were making content, but you were pretty hit or miss. Like let's not
Like,
Yeah.
extremely.
you're probably hit or miss. And why was that from your point of view?
So, from my point of view, before going into Channel Jumpstart, I thought it was like just an algorithm issue. I think like sometimes as like a creator, you'll put the blanket band-aid or the blanket term of like, oh, well, like this is just like something that just happens. You know, like my videos just take a long time to blow up. Or, you know, my videos just they just don't perform, you know, like at this level this soon. Like, you know, I'll tell myself these like crazy things or whatever. And big coping, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of thought about it at the time, was like, I'll just make banger videos, but like I didn't have a congruent viewer in mind that entire time. So like the Clear Food series, the niche it kind of ran into was like the Nile Reds, the science kind of area.
Right.
And that wasn't the same audience as the Photoshop videos I had just posted. Those were just
not even remotely close.
not even close. So then I would be so confused, because then I would be like, okay, like I'm trying to test maybe like I did a cursed foods like on TikTok, and I was like, yeah, my audience is gonna love this TikTok, you know, all this kind of stuff. I thought this is who my viewer wants, and then no one showed up. And I was so confused, but it's because I had converged these two audiences that didn't even make sense. Like they weren't going to watch the next video because the next videos didn't have anything to do with it. And so it was just kind of a big mess.
What was that big shift that you heard? That because I remember there was an exact moment that you heard from something that you were like, wait a minute, I need to be making entertainment videos.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I was watching the Daryl and Hope Scope interview, and Daryl had been telling me, like, he because that's the thing. Sometimes as a creator, you need to hear something a couple times before it really clicks. Like before
it
you
only
really
took 145 times for you.
Yeah, I'm so hard-headed. I'm so hard-headed. So finally, it just clicks when she goes like, yeah, we just like, you know, what is your viewer truly watching for? Is it entertainment? Is it education? Like, why are they clicking on your video? And I had realized that why they clicked on the Clear Foods videos was more for like a science-based or like a curiosity, but they weren't clicking for an entertainment video. They happened to be entertained once they clicked, versus like the Photoshop series where they clicked for an entertainment video. And what that kind of just made me realize, I was like, even though Clear Foods got more views, it actually still hurt my channel more, or I guess it didn't hurt it, but it didn't help it as much as the Photoshop videos, because that audience wasn't coming back around for the type of videos I was making, which was purely entertainment. And so, oh yeah, go ahead.
No. I just wanted to really emphasize this because you had fun making both content, right? You had a lot of fun. However, when you started making the Clear Foods video, it was getting more views. And then you looked, and this is where I felt like you got into a trap. And I feel like a lot of content creators get into the same trap, which is, oh, this is what the algorithm wants. And so I need to do what the algorithm is. So let's talk about that, because I think that helps clarify what was really happening. And I think it goes back to emphasize what you just said. But did you have that mentality of like, oh, okay, the algorithm God says that we need to make clear videos?
Oh, I'll speak on this one because I was more along that line, because for me and Angela just serve like two different roles. She's the creative, I'm the business side of things. So I see something and I'm like, oh yeah, the algorithm loves this. We just got to keep producing more of this. You know what I mean? But then the issue is I fell into the trap that most big businesses run into, where it's like, if you're not experimenting, you're not innovating, you're going to fail. So we weren't experimenting. We weren't trying anything else. So, I mean, that's kind of where we fell into that trap of...
We just kept making new foods clear.
Yeah, we just made new food clear, and it kept...
It was brutal. I'm not going to lie. Because it's like when I first came on, I like, oh, like, this is not the true you. Like, when I watched the content, it wasn't the true you. Like, you tried, but it's not... It felt forced. It was. And I'm like, oh, come on, girl. Like let's take two steps back and get your natural ability to come out. And sometimes people feel trapped in their content. And you have no idea how many people reach out to me who are like, oh, I just want to quit YouTube. And it's because they feel trapped in their content. and they feel like they don't have the ability to create.
Yeah.
And so when you heard that coming from Hope, says, okay, this is more curiosity, and people thought, okay, how are they doing this? And it's more educational. But then you had some edutainment, but it wasn't really edutainment. It was funny. But it wasn't the right type of value proposition. It wasn't the right type of viewer. But you could get the views, you could get the click. But did it equate to when you release something else and it bombs and you're like, oh wait, I can't do that. So the algorithm says I need to keep on doing clear videos. You know, is that how you felt?
That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what did you do next? Like, how did you break out of that?
So, for me, I am someone that like really, I need to see at least some kind of evidence to like, make a shift. So like, I'm someone that'll do a lot of research before a video. I'll like put in a lot of time. So when I came to this hypothesis, I was like, okay, I need to make educational videos, not educational, entertainment videos. One of the things I did was I went back because I was like, okay, clear foods get more views, but what about that watch time percentage? Like, how long are people actually watching? And I looked at the difference between the Photoshop videos and the clear sandwich videos, and I realized that the people that are watching like purely entertainment videos were watching for longer periods of time by a lot, like by a good amount. And so that kind of just
and also the viewer to comment ratio too. So the viewer.
Oh
yeah,
way bigger.
Way bigger. The way more interactions, way more comments that were like coded towards what I thought it would be. Like way more like fun comments, not necessarily like nitpicky, like super in-depth thought. Like, because that's not my content's meant to be goofy and funny and not be taken too seriously.
Yep.
So after that, we were like, okay, I'm gonna spend a week. I'm gonna ideate really hard, day to day, every day. Like I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna try to figure out exactly what I want to do next. And that's when we came up with Cursed Toys, which is at 4.6 million views right now.
Yeah, I want to, because there's a lot that happened in that short amount of time. So I know you went to VidSummit and you're having conversations with some really great creators. Right guy, amazing creator. I love his heart, love what he does. What was your experience like at VidSummit as a data input, like as a creator, like getting it, whether it was conversations in the hall or people on stage? How did that get you to either think of YouTube a little bit differently and or see the business opportunities?
I would say, to be so honest, at first I was super nervous about VidSummit. I am someone that I am so introverted. I don't leave my room. I just edit and think all day, you know?
Do you know the biggest YouTubers of all times are introverts? Like they might not seem to be, but trust me, I've interacted with them. They're very awkward. But they know how to perform and they go out and perform, but it's not who they really are. It's crazy. But anyway.
Yeah, human interaction is awkward for me in person.
That's more of my role in the business, is like helping, going out, talking to people, but also
you're here to normalize. You're here to normalize.
I like to think of myself as her life coach sometimes, like giving her encouragement to be like, no, you can do this. These are your people. Go talk to them. You got this. And then going from there. You
definitely have the motivational voice. Like if you start a channel, it should be a motivational channel. And you're bringing your voice in,
But after I actually kind of like got over it a little bit, I would say the biggest and best thing about talking to other creators is that you realize that you are not alone in your struggles. So like whatever you're going through, someone else has already been through it. So you feel less alone. Like, being a YouTuber can be very lonely. It's just very isolating sometimes. And you get in your own head a lot. So meeting other creators was huge. And that was the best thing.
Digging deep into that, just to speak on that loneliness side of things, because I was with Angelia when it was going on. And I feel like a lot of people kind of feel this too, where you get to a stage where you do get lonely because you're just so hyper focused in this one field and the people around you just don't understand it. And you feel like truly nobody understands you. There was times where Angelia was crying to me because she just didn't have anybody that she could talk to about YouTube or like the things that she was truly passionate about, because we were surrounded by a bunch of military people, because when she lived with me, it was just military people. And then I remember she finally started finding those people, started talking to those people more. And that's when she really went to the next level and really started committing more, is when she was able to find those people that she really meshes with. And that's why I think these events are so important, because at VidSummit, we met some of our greatest friends, like that are now our neighbors, like our last video, we had this one other YouTuber. His name is King Sam-a-lot. He was
Yeah,
in a video. We met him at VidSummit. I'm literally his neighbor now. I live like 5 minutes away from him. I just hired his brother. You know what I mean? So like stuff like that. Like I think it's truly important to go to these conventions as a creator, just so that you can find the people that like you, especially if you feel lonely. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
especially.
Yeah, and I think that the reason why I started VidSummit was I saw all this potential, like in people like Angelia, right? It's like they come in, they're super creative. They might not have all the business acumen or see the business side or even care to be in that side, you know. And I'm like, no, there is like this creator economy, and this is like before there was like really a lot of talk about the creator economy, and I felt like there's gonna be a huge shift that's going from there. So my whole goal was, could I actually create a conference that is meant for me? Like I can go in and have conversations on creative, have conversations on audience development, have conversation on doing more outside of just ad revenue. But realistically, I wanted to create a space where people could go and say, do you know what? Every person in this room knows some struggle that we're going through and can relate, and that relatability. And I think by far one of the most powerful things at VidSummit is those conversations. You never know who you're going to sit by. You never know who's going to be right there, but having those conversations are real. But then too, you know, taking advantage of having discussions of how do you do this, or what do you do in this scenario, and you know, having some relatability, but also like some clarity, you know. And I think for me, it's something that I'm passionate about, because there is the value. But when you walked away from VidSummit, what did you like? You did walk away a little bit differently, because you knew that you weren't alone. You had some friendships that were there, you know, and then two, you were on a quest to make better content, you know, and what did you really do next? Like, what was the next stage of your evolution? Because you did, like, if you were to take a look at your content before and your content after, there's some big changes that occurred.
Yeah, I would say probably the next step was me joining Channel Jumpstart. I was so skeptical when I went to VidSummit. I was like, I'm just gonna go to the event. I'm not gonna get, you know, not sipping on the Kool-Aid, you know, I'm not gonna join anything. But
I was the one that kept telling her, like, you should just try it out. You don't lose anything by doing it. You always should be learning, just trying to go do it, like trying to push her to do it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of scammed her. I was like, yeah, just you do it for me, because at this time I wasn't full time in the business. So I was like, yeah, when I'm full time, in order to get up to your level, just buy this for me. You know what I mean? Because then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do all that stuff. And yeah, but yeah, I try to lump it in there.
Yeah, and I think it's like I think there's a lot of people. Is it right for me? Right, like regardless of what it is, but realistically, it's like when I talk about, you know, my mentoring program, it's like, okay, there's foundational training, but then there's the community side, right? And the community side is amazing. Like, because I know a jump starter who's a really big YouTuber said, dude, you got to try this. It's like not what you think that it is. But I don't necessarily want to go into my group coaching, because I don't think that's the message. But the main thing, the main takeaway, and I remember some of our first calls, and I saw your content, and I was like, okay, there's just like, she can bring value, but she's hit or miss. And I'm like, if we can just get her to own one thing, there's a high probability that she could make it big time. And it was, for me, it's not about the algorithm. It never has, never will be. It's about really understanding who your viewer is, and really creating that in your mind as a way to validate your ideas, and also kind of the way that your ideas formulate into videos. And I remember having that conversation with you, and it was like I was looking at a deer in the headlights, like you're like, huh? You know, you're just like, like wait. Yeah, I kind of know who they are. I'm like, no, let's literally break it down. And as we were starting to break it down, you're like, oh hell, you go way in depth on this. I'm like, yes,
really far in depth. We didn't understand
literally the secret of all things, Angelia. Would you kind of go through that? Because I don't think the average person that hasn't gone through Channel Jumpstart really understands how I hyperfixate on this. And then two, how I try to get my students like you to fixate on this as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, the first couple weeks of training are literally about understanding the viewer. Like that is all they're about. And then every week after that, it was always like he would always circle. You'd ask a question, and it would always end up circling back to, okay, but like, what about the viewer? So like, what would your viewer think about this? Like, how does your viewer interpret this? And it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, but it was super. We went in depth. Like me and Wiggy, we spent a day. We had this whole whiteboard, and we were calling people like, hey, who did you watch when you were younger? Or hey, like, what did you like about this individual? And hey, like trying to get an idea of who would watch us and like why would they watch us? Like what are they going through? And I kind of just realized like the avatar is pretty much just younger me. Like it's actually kind of just younger me, which is crazy to think about because when I look at the camera, when I talk to the camera, I'm trying to talk to a younger version of me, which makes it so much better. Like it just makes it so much easier.
It was so cute too when she met her first fan in person. And
a week ago.
And it was literally like, it was just like, I just imagined just like a mini Angelina in this little girl. And I was like, this is perfect.
So crazy.
And a lot of self-validation on that as well. But I think a lot of people say this as a content creator is like, oh, I'm making content for myself. I'm my own avatar. But what you did say is my younger self. And the younger self, you know, like in middle school, you would get bored in class. I know it for a fact. Like there's no ifs, ands, and buts. And I know that you used to doodle a little bit because you needed to do something to be creative at that time. Am I speaking truth here?
Oh no,
yeah. But that it's more about the psychological things that they're looking at or things that they would find funny or whatever. This is like creating a profile. So I know that you know you went through your avatar, and I want to kind of explain the avatar. I said, yeah, kind of you when you're younger, but let's kind of talk about who that is because I want to like we always have to validate. Just because we think our audience is one way doesn't mean it's actually true. And so kind of what on that whiteboard when you're starting to narrow it down, you know, who is your avatar that you're creating content for?
It's definitely someone from like the city or suburbia. It could be anywhere, but that's pretty much where we think the mass of them are. And then also someone that is chronically online and a memer. Like they get the memes. They're online a lot. They love it. They're about it. And I would also say probably from the ages of 6 to about like 15, I would say is our main age range. Yeah. And then for like gender and stuff, it doesn't matter. Like anyone could watch it.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like gender. I would say we definitely lean more towards a female because of course we're thinking
now
about
that my face is
you know
on
what
it.
I mean?
Yeah.
We try to you know include both, but definitely more leaning towards that. Race wise, we're definitely more pandered towards like either we're both mixed or we're both like black and white, but we're kind of more along this like the black community. So we tend to notice that there's more people from the black community that watch our videos. More kind of like what she said, more suburbs, less city kind of thing. We thought we were from the city. We found out we're not from the city. We're actually from the suburbs.
Right. But, you learned that quick.
No. Yeah. I didn't realize until I went to the city and started exploring. I was like, oh.
Wait, that's totally different culture.
Wait, we're not from the city. We're not from the city. We're from the suburbs.
Oh my gosh. It's so good. Okay, so this is a good range. And, you know, so if you were to do the age range is fine. Gender, you'll always appeal to the gender you are. So the person that's on camera, if it's just a voice, you could kind of cross over. But I want to talk about one thing that you said, which is they love memes. Their life is memes. They communicate through memes. And you know that I am a memer. I think memes are like I probably sent out 30 memes, you know, in the last 2 days. It's just like that's who I am. You know, that's what I'm about. That's how I communicate with my kids. And you know, a lot of people are like, I don't understand what this even means. I says, exactly. It's our own little code. And if you know, you know, right? And so it's just like this community. And so like, I want to kind of go back in time when you started to discover memes and what that actually meant for you. And then where were these memes being found and how were you sharing them with others?
So I would definitely say memes have I've been online way too I was online way too young. Like that was like the majority. He was an iPad baby. So like that was just the majority. That was just the majority of
like that.
That was just the majority of my time was online. Like, like, and so I can't even remember like the first meme I had or like whatever. I just was so involved with internet culture from such a young age that it was just always there. It was always there.
It was nice too because she has one side and I had the completely other side because I was a gamer. I was in the anime space. I was on TeamSpeak, Skype. So all my memes came from there. It was usually like we were browsing 4chan and Reddit, like all that stuff back in the day. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we have two different forms of that, and we can kind of combine that together to kind of make something.
And what would you say, like, if you were to dissect what a meme really is? Like I think everyone knows what a meme is, but like if you were to dissect what a meme is for you, what would that be?
Inside joke.
An inside joke or like a little burst of happiness. Mm-hmm. Like I like just sending weird stuff. Like it's so fun. I don't know.
First time you see a meme, you laugh at it, and then eventually it becomes like this inside joke, so it gets even stronger. And then you start sharing, kind of like what you were saying. You have this own communication that you have with your family because it becomes an inside joke form of communication. But
yeah. So I want to break that down because like that is the value prop. And so when we started to talk, I'm like, Angelia, like you're hurting my soul doing these clear content. I remember you're like, hey, we got to do a hot dog. I'm like, please, for the love of everything that's holy, let's not do that. No more. And you're like, no, it's what it's what it is, or we need to do real pizza or whatever it was. But it's like, I'm like, please, like you're much greater than that. But if you really look at it, it's not a meme. There's curiosity factor and like, okay, how does she do this or whatever? You might bring some of that elements into it, but it wasn't like spot on of what it is. And I want to talk about, I remember the idea of when you said, okay, cursed toys. And we went way in depth on it. And two, there was some assumptions of what the content should be that I thought were wrong. And then two, you kind of open up, because I think that's when you actually got it in the sense of, oh, okay, now I understand, who I'm speaking to, what value that it is, what I need to do. So how did you approach that video from ideation to picking up the camera and recording?
So for ideation, it was a lot of digging. Like I said, I took a week to really put the idea together. I put a lot of research into it. I looked around the internet. What do I like? What are videos I'm interested in? Where are there maybe like discrepancies in like views to subscriber ratios? So like those outliers, but I still don't want to do something that like, I feel like I'm stepping on someone's toes. Like I wanted to feel like I was doing something original. Like that's always like the best thing for me. So I would say for that, it was mostly that. It was just collecting so much inspiration, so that like cursed toys just seemed like the easiest route to take. Like that's like the point I like to get to with ideation. And then for the actual video itself, I really wanted to outdo myself. I really just wanted it to crank up my videos times 10. Like I really wanted to show like I don't have to just be put in a box by just sitting behind a kitchen and making clear foods. Like I am creative and I can turn that up really fast. And so that video had a whole set. Like Wiggy was first set ever. And like I was addicted. Like I am now hooked to sets. I'm hooked to just making videos bigger. Wiggy can attest that my videos are not getting a little expensive just because I can't help myself.
Or last minute where it's just like, I want to do this crazy thing that we didn't plan. I was like,
yeah, we're sticking to the plan, right? But anyway, it was like, okay, it was a level up moment. That's what I think content creators have. And the level up moment was this. It was more intentional. You knew who you're creating content for, and you wanted to overperform. And so you put more work than you probably ever put into a video. And then you executed on it, but it was very, very effective. And so I want to just go through maybe the life of when you released the video. Did it just take off right out of the gate? Did it take a couple bit of time? Like what happened on that one?
It flopped.
It flopped so bad.
So, well, because here's the thing, like apparently like thumbnails are like really important. I didn't know that. It's crazy. I know. Who would have thought?
Thumbnails?
What? Anyway, The first thumbnail, listen, when I made that video, I was pulling some crazy. I was working 6 days a week. I was pulling 10-hour days
We were sleeping in the living room because we had to kick ourselves out of our bedroom.
We were living in a one bed,
right.
one bath, so the set was in the bedroom, so we couldn't touch it. We were sleeping in the anyway. So I was already pushing myself a lot. So then by the time I got to the thumbnail, I was like, whatever. Like, whatever, I'll throw up whatever on it. So then I did. And then it started performing very poorly. And I was like, you can't, please. Like, this is the best video I've ever made. I knew it in my gut. Like, it was like, I knew it deep down inside. This was the best video I've ever made. And so then what I started doing is, once again, I went back to the drawing board. Daryl had said in a call once, he was like, if you have an issue with thumbnails, like, just go and break down a bunch of other creators' thumbnails, see what buckets their thumbnails are in or how they're formatted. And I was like, I can just do that. So I spent a full 8-hour workday and I went through all the creators I take a lot of inspiration from, and then creators even like out of the box. And I broke down the formats of thumbnails, and I understood like, okay, 3 objects are needed. Maybe I have this. I want it to be a real photo. And so then I started putting these pieces together, and then I went back to the drawing board and I said, okay, I think SpongeBob is going to be the biggest brand name. Yeah. So it's going to have to be on the front. That's going to be the toy. And then I think the cursed word is so strong, I can use it. And then maybe if I make it extra cursed by, curving it. And then I was like, and then everything in the background of that thumbnail too is all real. It's like the actual set. Cause what I was doing was I had like a white background or something. And I was like, I just spent so much time on this set. I'm going to use it in the background of my thumbnail. Like it's too good already. Like, and then as soon as I turned, it took me about 5 or 6 days. And it was the day.
It was like a week. It was literally the day of her birthday is when it popped off.
As soon as I changed that thumbnail. Yeah. As soon as I changed the thumbnail, within 24 hours, I think it was like 1 million views.
Thumbnail so many times that people started commenting, you don't need to change the thumbnail anymore. It's already perfect. Like the fans, because she was changing it so often because there's one thing about creators that I realized, because I would definitely say Angela is more of like a creative than I am, but like there's something about it where it's like she just knew like this is my best video. So because of that, I said keep spending the time you think you need to make this video what it needs, like get what it needs to get.
Yeah, so I remember watching the video. Yeah, I remember watching the video. I'm like, this is banger. Like it's banger, but like your thumbnail sucked. It's so bad. It was like the worst thumbnail in the history of YouTube. But
so bad.
It was. And the whole reason why was you put all your energy in the content, but you forgot that content starts with the click, right? So it's like the title, thumbnail, and like I think once you understood, I can actually go through the process and see what's going to work, and you knew that it was like, okay, we need to focus in on the relatability, because like if you were to say, if you would have picked another toy outside of SpongeBob, I don't think it would have popped. And the reason why is because there's more memes coming from SpongeBob SquarePants than probably any other show out there. Really, it's amazing. But then two, it brought some familiarity. Then two, you had your face in it, and then it was like the way that you position the toy. Okay, that's really important. But then two, I remember the colors. Like you had to bring the colors in properly and change that. But once you got it dialed in, it was like YouTube knew exactly who the audience was and was literally pulling that content to that audience. And I want to go through the comments on this, because I don't realize, like, if you don't really know, you don't know. But this comment right here is probably one of the more powerful comments. Bro, he's buff. Okay. 1.8 thousand thumbs up. And then you have 590 replies. And for the average person, you're like, why is this comment important? Why would that even, be validated? And it's because meme culture understands meme language, and meme language gets a response, right? And then two, I mean, you have like, if you go through this, it is literally the funniest thing if you go through that thread. And then it created this moment for someone where not only did they watch the video, but they connected with the video, and then the video spoke to them so much that they're able to bring it in a way and have a dialogue, and there was like a very specific thread. But I can go through this, and really analyze this. But like, I know that you knocked it out of the park just because of everything that it's like literally speaking to. And that's when you like, okay, great idea, hit my audience, spoke to my audience. But the more important thing is they felt like they needed to share it. And whether it's a share through a time code, share through a comment, share through hitting the share button, that's when I went through the roof. And for me, getting over that million subscriber or million views on your birthday is big, but it was what happened next, because what happened next was it really brought in another factor, which most people don't see, which is they love the video. What are they going to do next? They're going to watch more content.
Yeah.
And that's when your channel just went, it started to go right up. And then as, the second million, third million, fourth million came in, they started to binge more content. But what did it do to you as a creator, from that moment? Because you knew it was banger, you put the time, energy, and effort into it. And then how did you respond to that?
Well, real quick on the point you were making earlier, just about the comments, a lot of the stuff that we have in that video is very intentional. And the way we did that was by taking your advice and going through our old videos and seeing what people commented on the old videos. And so Wiggy coming in and being buff and being the surprise, that was all intentional, because in a clear food video, everyone commented about that. So just making those kind of like those moments very intentional. But, oh my gosh, I just blanked on the next question you asked, because I was trying to get,
because then it makes it intentional on why you made the content that you did, and you realized, if I do this in a video, there's a high probability I can get more engagement, right? And so once this came out, I would assume that it validated a lot of assumptions that you had around your content, your channel, and then what did you do next, like in the sense of what to create, or how did it change your ideation, or how did it evolve you as a creator?
I would say that like it kind of just opened my mind to the fact that like I can be more me, essentially, with like every aspect of the video, because I felt like with the clear food series, I was just so put in a box that I got scared to be creative at a certain point. I was scared to deviate. And then when this popped off, and then when the next video popped off, I was like, oh no, I can change stuff and what I think is funny, or what, because the viewers, like almost like a younger, like what I think is funny and what we think is funny is actually validated. Like I can test this stuff and not be scared. I can be, a little more risky and not be scared. And that's when like the next thumbnail was Shrek Ussy, which is
which is great. Shrek's amazing. Like
I remember
Shrek is amazing.
I one, and she was like, I can't post this. I was like, you have to post it. Like, you have to. Like, it's like, you can't not do that. Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, but I think it's giving us permission to be ourselves. Like that I think that's the point that I really want a lot of creators to get. Is like, hey, there is an audience for how warped your mind is, Angelia. Like there is. It's great.
Yeah.
Because my mind's warped too, and things make you laugh, like weird things make you laugh, and the rest of the world, this is what I love about this, the rest of the world goes, I don't get it, and you're like, exactly, that's exactly right, and those that get it, right, and they feel like they connected. Now we went through your next couple videos, and it's like you're doing so good. And it's just like I think there's a lot that's happening on your channel. And I think what I'm seeing more than anything else is you're dialing it in, right? You're dialing in who you're making content for. You just met a fan in real life. And then two, it's starting to say, oh, maybe I need to be a little bit more cautious on the type of content it is because of the age of some of these kids. And so that's great too. So hey, let's stay within these boundaries. But I want to go to one comment. So you just released a video like 4 minutes ago or 4 hours ago. But when I'm looking for community, there's a certain type of comment that actually happens. And believe it or not, it's the first comment that was posted about 4 hours ago.
Oh no.
And is this. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. But it's like the queen has posted. Let me show you.
I was about to say the queen.
The queen posted,
oh,
right? I look for this a lot. Like I really, really do. And the reason why is because now, like from my point of view, it's like you're now getting a tribe being built. They're watching your content. They've been waiting for the content, and that's happening now. If this happens multiple times, like this is, I know that you didn't call yourself the queen. I know that.
No, I don't know where they got
that. But what I want you to do is really watch this closely, because you could become the meme queen. And like for me, that might turn into merchandise. It could be your brand. It could be that whole persona. It doesn't need to be called out per se, but the meme queen is a crown that you could wear, but you can't make your own crown for it, right? But if the community is, and you know that they're engaging with it, it's great. And so what I would do is pin that comment, reply to it, and I would just ask the question, "Are you calling me the meme queen?" Question mark. And see what happens on it.
Yeah.
Like just see, you know, like have a conversation for it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that would actually bring in some things that might happen more consistently, and before you can go, it's creating a specific brand. But I always look for that. I do. And then another comment was 0.0003 seconds in, it's already a banger. It's like, I look for that. Like I really do. Right. And so you're getting good results. I know like it takes a while for YouTube to catch up, and this is probably what a good performing video that you've released in the last little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't like to use you know how I loathe the 1 out of 10.
Out of 10.
I hate that. So like I don't say, hey, what is a 1 out of 10? Whatever. I just hate that. But anyway, but I'm looking at that. So like the other ones, Mama's Returned, the meme mama. But yeah, it's great. I love stuff like this. So I want to break this down a little bit now that you have this new, I won't say new direction, but it's like permission to be yourself, knowing who you're speaking to, bringing value in. You're now going to be caught in the trap of bringing the costs up. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you don't need to do it for every video, because it's not about your production of how amazing it is. It's about the connection of the video. Okay. And realize that some of the memes are the most poorly produced. There's not high quality, and that's what it makes it be better sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so and I look at this as that could be another trap of like, I'm leveling up, but the best way to level up is to connect with that audience in a deep way. I think it was a misstep to not put your face on a thumbnail. Because from my point of view, you are the meme queen, and I want that branding to be. And so we talked about that before the call. And I know this is a great performing video right now. Like I already know that it is, because we already talked. But it could be better. It could be better. And so like for me, I gave you some ideas. Like as soon as we're done with the call, you gotta jump into it, because it's like it is that biggest of difference. It's the same thing as the time, energy, and effort you put into the cursed toys that it is for this one. And YouTube, it's all about momentum of getting in front of the right type of person, and when they find it, then they're going to binge watch. And you've seen that already, where they're commenting on multiple videos and they're starting to engage in multiple ways. We just don't want to lose that. So the consistency is be in front of the camera, and then also in front of the thumbnail. And then you as a personality, you represent the audience that loves what you love, and you're bringing your own little spin on it, right? And that's what they're connecting to. And so if you can actually do this right, you can actually have an audience that doesn't, as soon as they see your face, they're clicking. It's like they're not even looking at the title thumbnail. They're like, oh, I love her work. Boom. I love her content. Or this is my community. This is where I belong, right? And so, but really, really, really good content. And honestly, I think the meme queen is. I'm just like looking at this. Check this out. Here's another one. It says, I just realized I posted 3 hours ago. Wow, I just watched the whole thing. My favorite meme. You turned a realistic the chill guy. You did such a great job. Love you, Queen. The Queen is here. All right. Oh, look. OMG, the Queen's posted. Like you have
No one said Queen before this video. I don't know where it came from. People just started saying this. It was out of nowhere.
So random. I love it.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah.
They're so cool.
I think I would literally lean in on this if it was me, because that's like one of the things that like there's a point where they've identified what the community is and then who you are to that community. So I'd lean in on that if it was me, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, don't just go out and buy a tiara and like let's not do that. But I think posting, engaging, and you could always bring it in your content. Some of you called me the meme queen or the queen, and yeah, I love memes. I don't know if I'm the queen yet, but you can make a joke or whatever out of it. But make it a meme somehow, and see how the most active people connect with it. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. You want to hear the first idea I have for merch, though?
Oh no! Yeah, please, for the love of everything, let's do it.
Okay, I have an idea. Huh? No. Maybe. No. So I get so many comments about how big Wiggy is, and like I'll dress him up on all these. Like he agrees, by the way. Like we painted him as the Kool-Aid Man, and he busts through a wall, he's in so many different bits. And I was just thinking, like, one of those like early 2000s calendars where it's like we're all posed up and there's different like crazy poses for each
banger. If every month is a different meme, banger. Like seriously.
Thank you. Oh my god.
Yeah. So every month, whatever, and I think it's great. And what I would do is don't go massive on it. Like just like say, hey, just dropping this. It's limited quantity, and actually have a limited quantity. But then it's a collectible too. So like, there's a lot of things that you can do. But yeah, I really, really like that idea. Like most ideas I wouldn't like, just to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but I really like that idea.
Yay!
Because it's something that they can put up in their room. It's representative of that, but then also it's a meme calendar.
Yeah,
like
it's
who
great.
wouldn't want that?
Thank you.
Yeah. The issue is what she's gonna have me dress up in. Daryl.
We don't know yet. We don't know.
I have an idea.
We'll be together.
Yeah,
It'll be like,
I just want you to do the Kool-Aid voice, though. This is the best ever. Yes, that is so good. That is so good. That's a great idea. And I just caution anyone when you're starting to go from views into the business side. Some people go way too big and they're thinking way too big. I always do what we call like toe in the water campaigns. You know this because you're my student, but I like to just like, okay, test the waters. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Why is it going to work? And I look at two things. Number one, does it represent your value proposition of the videos? Yes. Does it celebrate the value propositions of your videos? Yes. Okay, great. And then two, can it be in a price range that they can afford? Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now the only difference would be is I would do it limited quantity. And the way that I would do it is do a Shopify store, hook it up to your YouTube channel, and then do just a limited run. Like I'm saying maybe 100 to 500, like nothing massive. Because you can always just say, look, this is coming out, and you have enough time, because usually 2026 calendars would come out, about August, September. So you have enough time to get it ready to go. I can give you sources. There's actually a printer in your area, like in Dallas. It's like they have multiple places. You could do that fairly easy on that. So this would be great. So inexpensive for you as a creator too. So.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Well, I guess I got a new task to work on. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I just can't wait to see, like, I can't wait to see what happens, with this. But I want to go over one other area, and this is something that you and I have not had conversation on, and I think this is very valuable for everyone that's on the live stream. But when I look at content, I look at, okay, what is the idea? Can I make it where people want to click on it? And then can I hook them in and set up the video? And then two, I always talk about what is the shareable moment. So we talk about that a lot. So you've heard that side, but there's another side that I get hyper fixated on is what are the memes? Like if they're going to clip your content out, like what is the content will be the meme? And I create memeable moments in it. And it could be the dumbest thing where you say something. So like early on, we would make sure in some videos that there's a set of pickle or a jar of pickles in it because Chandler in Mr. Beast's videos was afraid of pickles. Okay. Guaranteed, just because it was there, people would clip it out and have that, even though that wasn't referenced or anything like that, but it was like, you get what they call what I love, which is called user generated content, UGC. They're creating it, putting it on their socials, or putting it on TikTok, and they're blowing up. And the reason why is they all it does is turn them into an avenue to get you more awareness. And I've seen some of these just like really take off where like, oh my gosh, that was so funny. They go discover these content creators and then they blow up to the that next level. So I know that you're very intentional on this. I want you to go deeper with it, which is what are the inside jokes for you and also for your team that could be the community can say, oh, I get this. And it is like dressing him up. That fits that, right? But even if it was like these segments where what I would do to sell the to sell the calendar would be crazy memeable moments, whatever. You could figure out how to package this right? But it's just like fast paced, boom, 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 boom. It's a short video, could be a short. Can go to YouTube Shop, which is there, but it's just like all the crazy memes, and then they can get the calendar. I mean, that's banger, like a banger idea.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I already kind of have an idea what we could do for that.
Yeah, same. There's already so many inside jokes in the community, which is so cool. So yeah, definitely we'll go through that.
So what? I don't want to talk about what's next in the sense of content. I think I want to say, okay, what is your process? Like let's kind of go through from ideation to execution to upload. Like what would you say your process is, and then to where do you put the weight of your very specific limited time to get it right?
So I would say, firstly, the process is always changing. We have yet to nail down an official process.
We're always trying to improve it.
Always trying to improve it. Because sometimes it's like, okay, we're going to spend like 4 days on planning. And then it's like, okay, well, we spent 7 days on planning and now everything's backed up. But pretty much what it is, it's ideation. And then I'm ideating all the time. It's a daily task, Monday through Friday, that I'm doing. And then I'll usually take like a big week if I really need a lot of ideas. So then it's like picking the best idea, like the cream of the crop from there. And then after that, then it goes into, I have the same document every single time, the same Google Docs. And it pretty much goes, you put the title at the top and then you just start working down. Like everything that you're going to do every single time when you make a video needs to go in this doc. So it's like, what is the story you want to say? Maybe do you have a BC plot? What is the whole video about? Like, what are crazy, insane ideas that you can literally just throw at a wall? Like, or like a thing I really love to do now is like visual inspiration. Like, what do I want the edits to look like in here? What do I want the set to look like? What do I want the, the text and the font, or what kind of music? What do I want the viewer to feel? And so then there's all of that. And then it goes into like the nitty gritty. So then it's like, I'm actually like, if it's a cursed toys video, then we're picking out every single idea. And it's me watching a bunch of other YouTube videos to like pull a little bit of inspiration from everything, and adding that in. And then from there, it's literally bit making. So like we're like, so for instance, like we're going to buy 2002 Kool-Aid. It's like, okay, what bits can we do with 2002 Kool-Aid? What's a cool thing we could set up? It's like, we're going to paint Wiggy red and we're going to make a ball of cardboard and he's going to bust through it as hard as possible. And we're not even going to give the viewer any warning. Or like we did like the little lad dance, so we ordered the whole costume. So then it's on to Wiggy. It passes off to Wiggy. Which you'll do is ordering all the products, making sure they're here, and then it's like ordering the set. So then it goes into ordering, then everything's finally here, and then it's 3 days of pretty much just solid recording. And then after that, then we now have a team, which is awesome. Like, and the best part too is that when you really go and hire those really good people, we went through a lot of steps. We did video interviews. We did, we went through so many different things. We made a whole application. It was huge. Like we took a whole, 3 weeks to hire people, and they're memers just like us. So they get it. They get understanding how to implement all of it. So then they take it, and then we just give revisions. That we give them the entire planning document, so they know exactly what I'm thinking. And then they kind of just take it from there, and then it's just last little revisions at the end, and of course thumbnail happens at some point in that process.
Yeah, that's the thing we're trying to figure out the most is
where does it fit?
Yeah, where does it fit? When is she going to take the time to do that?
Yeah,
how fleshed out is it going to be? That sort of thing. We also just hired somebody to help us with in-person production too, so that's
great
too.
Yeah,
that's great.
So yeah,
well, I want to give you some food for thought on just hearing your workflow. There's one thing that I know memers love and they get inspired by, and you might already do this, but I didn't hear it in what you just said, which is once you do your ideation. So you do an ideation Monday through Friday, right? And you're thinking, okay, what's the best idea, and you're trying to narrow that down. I think once you narrow it down, then you need to do ideation again. And you said that you did it again in the bits, right? You're saying, okay, what are the bits? What I would do if it was me, before you even do the bits, is bring in your other team members that are memers and do a memer type of brainstorming around the content. And so the reason why is most of the bits will be introduced in that time, or you're going to probably go down a deep, dark rabbit hole of, amazing content, but you almost need like hey, here's the video. Here's what I'm thinking, how do we make it better? And then all you're taking is from a memeable moment perspective. And then two, that might elevate some of the props that you bring in. And then you can go again and do the same thing individually, like what you've done. But I found that, especially in this type of content, there's some type of synergy that happens. It's what we call the writer's room, situation where people in the writer's room, they can bounce off ideas, and bad ideas turn into some of the craziest, best content in the world. And I feel like you need that, not necessarily on the ideation of the video part. I don't want you to pass that off. I don't think that should be like, you need to know what that is instinctually as a creator. But going into that next moment is, okay, what's some crazy ideas or what's some crazy things that we can do that would represent our audience? And I think if you even brainstorm that for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour, it could be like a lunch break where you're just, just around Zoom or whatever, just, having it. And it's just like nothing sacred, and you're just able to talk and you're coming up with these ideas. I think it would actually help you get more excited about the video, but then two, give you the right type of things to say, oh, I like these ideas, I don't like these ideas, after the fact. So you don't want to shut anything down, but it was just like, oh, okay, you're just kind of brainstorming, spitballing, speaking to it. And I think that will elevate your content dramatically. So
perfect timing too, because we start planning on Monday. So.
Yeah, we do for the next video.
Yeah, let's try that. See if you like it, because I would assume that the shareability of when you find a meme and you show it to it's that interaction, and they're kind of going back, and it's just there's that feedback loop, right? That you're just kind of going down the rabbit hole. And then two, I love it when somebody actually understands the audience that we're engaging. Then they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually, have you thought about this? And it brings in other ideas that definitely could help validate and or enhance the content. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially because like before I was doing planning by myself, and then once Wiggy hopped on to do it with me, he helps me with all the bits. It went 10 times faster. So yeah, of course, I don't even know why I didn't think that having the rest of the team on it too would be.
Yeah, except if they're memers. If they're not memers, I would like literally tell them to do a job. But if they're memers, then it is. But I want to make one other request. Is your other memers female? Do we have any other?
Yes. Shan is,
because if they're not, I would say you might need to hire someone, because there is regardless, there are personality memes that go from there, but then two, the memes that really speak to you. There's that, it's not a high factor, but it is a factor into it, you know, and you don't want to get someone that just laughs at every one of your memes, but they get you to laugh at some of the memes that they bring in. And I think that's the value prop. So
Yeah.
That's the main reason we hired her, is because during the tester, she added her own memes that was perfectly in line with what Angelia wanted. And I was like, oh, she understands her humor.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest part too, if you're hiring like an editor or just really hiring anybody, they should be a culture fit. You got to understand what the culture is, like what you guys are about. And they should just be a part of that culture, regardless of what their role is.
Yeah.
Because all of our editors can serve in that, because they're all memers, because that's what we hired for, was memers. There's not a single person that works with us that isn't a memer.
Yeah, I really like your workflow. I think that you need to cap it though. I think you need to have deadlines and stay. But that's
all right. Baby steps.
I'm trying to get her there, Daryl. She won't take the deadlines.
Listen, I get it because you're doing the bulk of the work, but as the team comes in, it's like, what's going to make you the most effective, right? And I'll be honest with you, it's giving yourself permission to get into the zone, because like once you're in the zone, you can do so much more, right? And it's just hard to get into the zone. That's your, like, if there's ever a problem, Angelia, it's like you trying to get into your zone. And that's why it's delayed. If you're in your zone, you could do it in one day. You don't need freaking 4 days. You don't need 7 days. You just need to be in the zone. Yeah, and so I just, one thing that I always do, whether it's business or, you know, creators or whatever, is like, tell me when you're the most creative. Like when is that? You know, what time of day is it? What gets you in the mood? And honestly, there's content creators like, dude, I get super creative when it's really late at night and we're watching anime and we're just kind of drinking some, you know, some energy drinks and eat some snacks. And before you know, it's 4 a.m. and it's like, okay, great. That is the time that you should actually be the most creative. But utilize it around your content, not around all the other stuff. And so it's just like, it could just be changing the workflow of it, but it's more how do we get ready to turn the switch on? And I honestly believe you can actually make it a switch that you turn on by the environment that you're in, and then the people that surround yourself too. So
yeah,
man, you got cameras in our house or something? How did you know that was such a big issue that we're running into right now? That's literally the biggest thing that we were trying to figure out this week, is trying to figure out how we can get her into the zone faster.
Yeah,
because when she's in the zone, like you said, she's unstoppable. But getting her there is the issue.
All I'm saying is, this is not my first rodeo, and I can see how often you post, and I know that this is a problem. So
it was just weird, because literally what we were trying to figure out this week is trying to figure out how we can get her there, because of course our biggest issue is not being able to follow deadlines and post videos on volume. Volume is our biggest channel issue.
Yeah, so Hope and Tyler with Hope Scope, one of my proud papa moments was the moment that she could control her week, in the sense of she didn't need to get into the weeds on everything. She just needed to be the chief creative officer. She needed to be the chief creative, right? Like that whole thing. But realizing that she needed time to slow down so that she could be, because if not, everything's just in her head and all this other stuff. And it's like creating an environment that can happen. And once she got the environment that made it happen, it happened. But you have to be diligent for it. And then 2, you have to be able to cut those other things out and assign it to someone else so that you can do it. Now, I'm not saying that's where you're at, but it's a goal to look for. It's like the meme queen needs to post consistently. And the best way to do that is to have deadlines. But also it helps you not overanalyze or overproduce something. And realize maybe that's not the whole value. The value is the connection of the content. But anyway, there's several ways to do this. But I would say, yes, make it a priority, make it a goal, lead to it. You don't need to do it overnight. It might take 2 or 3 years to do it, and that's okay too. So
well, thank you. That's so good.
That was crazy to me that you just it was just timing wise. Timing was crazy.
Yeah. No, I've done this so much. And when you get someone like as creative as she is, it's just like, yeah, you can be creative, but there needs to be a time where it's good enough.
And a big thing I've been trying to have her do is try to study, because she was studying a lot of entrepreneurs for a long time, but now I'm trying to have her study more of just creative people in general, because she's just, the way I like to describe her, she's an artist. That's all she is. She's a creative. I'm the entrepreneur. I worry about the business side. So you don't need to do that anymore. Study these people, figure out what they do. What is their processes? Maybe you'll find different things that, maybe there's issues that they have that you had that you didn't even realize. So that's like one big thing that's been helping her out. But yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's like you can create a way to be the most efficient that you possibly can. And you're already doing it in the sense of designating time to go through ideation every day, like that, like just blocking out. And it's a muscle. I believe it is a muscle. I'm a visual creative. So like I'll see something and that will 10x my ideas coming from it. And when I see something, it might not necessarily be that, but it triggers something in my brain to think something differently. And that's kind of the way I go. And so it's just more knowing how to get you into the position, but then two, surrounding yourself by the people that get it, and then pushing away the people that don't, not necessarily completely throughout the week, but just in your time blocks, so really cool. Well, a couple things, the value of the audience is really important for you, and you're on your journey. I was wondering something, if you both would be willing to speak at VidSummit.
We can make some time. We can make some time.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about going to VidSummit this year.
I actually just want to get introverts on the stage and see them be awkward. So I want that awkward moment that comes up. But no, I got a couple ideas of it. So, but it would be my honor to have you, be a part of it. And then those guys, anyone that doesn't know what VidSummit is, VidSummit is happening this year, October 7th through the 9th. It's in Dallas, Texas. And it's where we talk about all things creator economy, the money side, the business side, audience development, ideation, thumbnails, AI. It's going to be literally our best conference ever in the history of all mankind, because these two will be speaking. And you don't need, for me to get on stage, you don't need to get billions and billions and billions of views a week to get on stage. It's just like there needs to be a message. And what I love is that you have the message, but you apply that message. You're able to kind of break out, because the things that you thought prior to VidSummit that was important for you wasn't necessarily reality. And then you were able to learn that along the way. And I think you have a story to share, and I think it'd make a great panel for it. So really, really excited for this. For those that, are interested, things are selling out quick. We've probably sold more hotel rooms, and it's only like May, than we normally did, in September, so it's like we're way ahead. It is going to sell out this year, probably quicker than later. Go ahead and go over to vidsummit.com to get your tickets. So would you be willing to answer some questions? We have a really great group that's on this live stream. Would you be willing to take a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and if you wouldn't mind, those that are watching right now, go ahead and put your questions for these two and myself in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and play a little video about VidSummit, the promotional video. It gets me excited every time to watch it. And then we'll come back and answer questions and then give away a few VidSummit tickets, because that's what we do. Yeah. I every time I see that video, I get so excited because of, just lives being changed. Coming to VidSummit, and really, really excited that you guys are going to be speaking this year. It means so much to me. So thank you, first off. For those that are looking to come to VidSummit, we will sell out this year. We did last year, just about a week before. But this year, I think we're going to sell out even faster. We got some pretty big announcements that's coming up. I'm actually announcing our first keynote speaker this next week. And it's someone that I can't wait for you guys to see on stage. I've been working really hard to get a unique schedule, especially the keynotes coming in this year. So that's going to be announced this next week. As we roll out the schedule, the prices are going to go up. It's going to go up by $100. So if you want to get it now. It's going to be the cheapest it'll ever be, and it will start going up as we get closer to the conference. Now, I know some of you already been and you bought tickets literally the day of the show for this next year. Appreciate that. But I can tell you right now, the team that we have pulling this together, we have some great new activations. There's going to be a lot of great things that are happening, and it's really designed to help you be successful in the creator economy. So get your tickets now, vidsummit.com. So, all righty. So we ready for Q&A? You ready to do this?
Yes.
Okay.
So excited.
We had some really, really, really good questions come in. So there's some really good questions. And so I want to get DePaul first going. So here's the question. Where do you look for your editors? And first off, do you have editors? And how long was that process to bring on an editor?
I'll speak on that one. So with when it came to the editors, the primary place we actually went through was honestly Discord. We went through the Creative Paradise Discord. The biggest thing about it, though, is you have to understand, you have to get the screening process right. You have to have a document that explains exactly what you're looking for. Go ahead and make a Google Sheets, have them answer all these questions that you're looking for. Go through all those questions, start screening those people. We had, I think originally we had 100 people reply to the Google Sheets. Or that Google Sheets, the Google form. And then after that, we screened it down to the top 10 candidates who I thought answered the questions the best. All those people got video interviews for all about 30 minutes to 1 hour. From the people that were the best on the video interviews, the top 5 people then did a tester video with us. And then the person that performed the best is the one that we ended up hiring. But in our case, we actually had 2 people that performed really good on opposite sides of their skill set. One was really good at cutting. The other one was really good at specific memes. So at that point, we just hired both of them, one for cutting, one for actually doing those memes. But it took us about a week and a half in order to get that process down. But it's more just about making sure that you make you do the elbow grease before you start, hiring the person.
Yeah, and that's a great way to do it. I've done that way before. I think I'll answer this question too, because I do a little bit different process than what you guys do. I'm not saying what I do is better than what they do. But go through the same discovery period, narrow it down to just a few candidates, right? And then I'll actually pay the candidate to make me a video. So I'll give them the identical footage, and it's usually 3 or 4 editors that we narrow it down to. But I'll pay them to edit a video for me, and I'm saying I'm not going to have you do it for free. I'm going to pay you to do it. And then based on our interaction of getting that video right, we'll land you the job or not. So for me, I want to be able to say, can they anticipate what I'm looking for? Can I give them the same instruction and see what the output is? And I'm looking for also how fast they do it, but also how they take initiative off of the video. Because I'll say, hey, edit a video exactly like I said. And then 2, if you were to edit for yourself, what would that look like? And that gives me that creativity for it. So I get 2 different cuts on it. And then based on that, I'm able to give feedback, and then how they're able to take that feedback of that, hey, you got this wrong, or we need this here, to see how they take it. And then once again, how fast they get it back to me and what it looks like. I've done that enough that it costs me less money, even though I'm paying 3 to 4 editors to do the same video. You think you'd do other videos, but you have to compare apples to apples and not apples to oranges. And I find out the ones that I respond better to, that I can actually communicate and they understand what I'm getting out of it. And then 2, I can see their talent. But I find that I usually get 2 people to do it. So then it goes 2 out of the 4 is they're usually on fire with it. And then I'll extend it where I'm like, okay, now you get your own video, and I give them one video and the other video. These are videos that will be living on the channel. It's something that I'll work very closely with, but I'll be able to see it. And then you're able to identify something that that is a hard thing, like someone that gets the really good content, but it's not the long form, right? It's like really good moments, and they get kind of like the setup and the punch for that. That is a hard skill set to find, especially in your world. But some people think that they need one editor that can do both, and it's really hard to get someone that do both. You pay a lot of money to do that, and sometimes you need to have 3 editors: one that assembles, and then one that fine tunes, and then one that polishes. And the one that polishes generally is the one that really amplifies the jokes or whatever. And I think you can get an assembly and a polisher could be the same person because they can get the whole thing in. But yeah, there's several ways to do it, but that's what I do on mine. So
yeah, I always say don't let go of talent. Like if you have somebody that's really good at a specific thing, it might not be exactly what you're looking for, but they're still really good at that one thing. Might as well just try to keep them around. That's why we have our cutter. And we have Shan, who is like the person that does those creative edits. You know,
they're awesome, by the way. I would not. Oh my god, our editors.
Oh my god, it made life so much easier.
Yeah, they get it.
Yeah.
So Angelia, this is a question. This is: would you prefer reaching 1 million subscribers this year or speaking at VidSummit? You're already speaking at VidSummit, so it's just
why not both?
I'm on both. Yeah, I don't really know if I can choose.
No, well, you don't. You're already speaking at VidSummit, so that's done. You know what I'm saying? So what would you rather prefer? But my whole thing is that there's not a reason why you couldn't be at 1 million subscribers before VidSummit. That's just not.
It's happening. It's happening.
I really do.
I don't think you'd be as cool as Colin and Samir and get their 1 million subscribers on stage talking about how they got 1 million subscribers.
That's iconic.
VidSummit. That was like one of the most OP dope things that ever happened at VidSummit.
We'll time it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a really great one from Driving with Miles. What is the most time-consuming part of making a single episode? Scripting, filming, or editing?
Ooh, most time-consuming? I would probably say the gearing up from like when you have an idea to sending it off to the editors, because like the thing about planning and the thing about putting everything together and making the sets is that it's very like. It could take as much time as it needs. Like you could keep adding stuff to it. Like it's almost never stop. Like you could just keep adding to stuff. And I would say for us, that takes the most amount of time. Because when you have the edit like sent off to your editors or when you're about to edit, like it's straightforward at that point. You are just editing. Like, but with that planning phase, it can just take so much time.
Pre-production is definitely probably the longest.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's some big traps with that for sure. That's what I'm saying is like you have to have deadlines. I mean, yeah.
I'm trying to
trigger word for her. Deadlines. Deadlines. Okay, this is from Psycho Petro. There we go. Knowing what you know now about your audience, how do you balance staying in your niche while being broad enough to hit a bigger audience?
Ooh. Okay, I actually know Peter. Hi, Peter. I know him from meeting other creators. But yeah, I would say staying in my niche. I would say that more comes down to the goal that you have, mostly because I don't really think I try to balance that at all. It's usually not a thought that I have. The thought I usually have is
disagree with that. Put SpongeBob on a thumbnail. You knew that was going to go broader than something else. So like
outlier research at that point, no?
Maybe I'm misunderstanding the question, but like as in like I just want to go as broad as possible. Like I'm not trying to stay niche, if that makes any sense at all. Like I'm trying to stay me and then make it as broad as possible.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, well, yeah, it's something that it's like how do we tap into mainstream?
Yeah.
Like if you just did your own internal, here's my own memes, you only get it if you watch my content. You're not taking anything else that's a common meme. Like if you never use Shrek in a meme, like what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Right.
I would
go ahead.
I would definitely say it's probably more like depending on what your niche is. I would think it's more of like trying to understand what is mainstream. I think a creator that does it really well is Mary Allison, where she's doing cake videos, but in order for her to go more mainstream, she ties in a lot of pop culture in order to make those things more mainstream. She's still in the cake making niche, but she applies pop culture, she applies mainstream things in order to make that a broader thing. So that's where I think that would come into play.
Isn't she like your neighbor or something? Like she's right there. And
she's in Austin.
We just did a video together.
Yeah,
that's
we
so
love
That's
them.
so great.
You do it really good.
Yeah, I would say, and this could be just the question that you're trying to ask, and kind of go a different direction. But it's like, I always say, be passionate about something. So, like, if I was to say what Angelia is the queen of memes, the meme queen, and her content's going to speak, and then 2, it needs to be relevant to that group. So the group that understand memes, that communicate through memes, that's great. And then to make it more pop culture, it would be taking things that are relevant right now and or have big pop culture moments. So like SpongeBob would fit that, Shrek would fit that. I mean, there's different things that you can go. I'll give you an example. Like we just had 2 days that were really important in May, and the first one was May the 4th be with you. That's May 4th, and the other one is May 6th. Be with you, which is May 6th. Okay, so you have 6th and whatever. So you have 2 Star Wars days. I've literally been like glued to Fortnite because they took something that's super relevant in May and they did a collaboration with Star Wars. And I'm all trying to get the skins. I'm all trying to do this. In fact, I literally bought all my kids. It's a holiday for us that because I know that Fortnite does this whole time. So I'll actually buy them V-Bucks. It's like I'll give them V-Bucks in preparation for the most important part of May. And it's not graduation. It's not anything else. It's like literally playing Fortnite with each other and getting that whole thing. But that is the whole thing. Is like that's how you take something relevant, but then you look at timing and looking for trending when things would be trending, and it's like just bringing the stuff together. Which this is a great question, Peter. Like this is a fantastic question. Okay. We didn't get a chance to talk about this, so I want you to talk about a little bit more about short form content. Man, we might have to have you come on again and do this again because like we didn't even get it through the short form content. But for Daryl, but I'm gonna give this to you because I know your thought on this one. Is it a good idea to create long and short content and the message at the end of the short to promote the long form of a video? What is your opinion? And my question is, how do you use shorts to elevate your long form?
That is our whole strategy.
Yeah, that is huge. So Cursed Toys, I would say, like, for example, Cursed Toys went from 2 million views, like probably a month ago. And then what we always do is we make shorts from the long forms. You will actually almost never find an original short just on our channel. They're always cut up from the long forms. After that short started taking off, it's at like 22 million views now. Now the Cursed Toys video is at 4.6 million views. So it took a huge, massive jump. It was insane.
It definitely garnered 2 million views by itself, just that short.
Just from the short form. So what we do is the way I like to attack shorts is I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm really into this stuff. Okay, so I get so into this. Yeah. So the way you want to attack shorts, at least how we do it, is that we take the videos and we already kind of have pre-segmented sections of the video. So if I'm doing Cursed Toys, well, then every toy could be its own segment. Or maybe I want to batch them together. Maybe I want to batch them by most cursed commercials. Then I'm going to take all the stuff from the most cursed commercials. So then that's one short. And for every short, the only thing that is customized on my stuff that's like original new content is the intros, because you don't want to just throw a viewer into a random piece of video. It's just not going to work. You kind of want to build up, have that story, have a good hook, like really think about why are they going to stay around for it. So I'll spend 90% of my time when I'm making a short on the intro. That is my main job. Everything else can pretty much be handled as long as I tell the editor how to chunk it down. So that's pretty much what I do. I spend all my time, I film a bunch of original content for the intro, and then I package it together. I used to do call to actions at the end. I used to say like, oh, like if you want to go watch this, do this and this. But I think that at our point in our channel, our audience kind of knows that that's what's going to happen. So I don't need to put the call to action there anymore. I used to, but now I don't have to. But I know that
it needs to be relevant. It needs to be relevant to what you're doing. Right.
Exactly.
You still got to just make a really good self-contained short, regardless of the long form.
Yeah. If they never watch the long form, they should be able to just enjoy the short by itself. Also, do not do cliffhangers. Give them the short itself. Yeah, it should be a complete payoff, like totally separate the long form. You add bonus content. If you want to see more, then you go to the short or the long form. If you want to, see me fully do this, then you go to the long form. So always giving them that payoff. And then I would say, what's another big thing that's kind of helped me with shorts? I guess pre-planning where the short's going to be in the content. And then I guess that's huge thing that helped me now is that I do content analysis or like breakdowns after I post a long form.
You're such a nerd, and I love it.
I do
finally.
I do like a big page breakdown of everything. I go through the comments. What are the most repeated comments? And then they're literally telling you what the biggest points in your short will be. So if everyone's commenting, oh my God, this sound is from a meme. I didn't know that this was where the meme sound came from. And that's what happened to me. I was like, okay, I'm going to front load my short with this thing because it's going to cause comments. People are already commenting at mass about it. They're just going to do it on a short. So literally taking everything you learned from that long form and condensing it down and making it even better because you have all the insight of how the long form performed. So that's my nerdiness about shorts.
Waiting for that one.
I love it. And Andrew, that was a great question. It brought in a conversation, and then I'm going to do a prediction here because I normally don't predict. I guess I do. I always predict, but it's like as soon as Angelia actually sticks to a schedule, she will actually. No. I'm being serious here. Okay. She's going to actually get a rhythm down where she's going to want to create more content, and she's going to start creating shorts that are not just clips out of videos. Now you might not see that yet, but I see it because there's certain things that doesn't validate a full video, but is funny enough that it could be a 20-second meme. And you're going to get to that because I've seen that evolution in content creators, and then it's going to validate ideas that could come into a long form piece of content for you. And so like where you're at right now, I love what you're doing because it's feeding the other. But as soon as you get the processes and systems, and I can guarantee you, as soon as we free up more time, you're going to want to say, oh, okay, I'm keeping my schedule. We're 3 or 4 weeks ahead. I need to make this. And you're like, okay, let's just do a day that we do short form memes that could live on shorts. And so when that happens, you're going to actually have the next iteration of you as a creator, because you're going to bring your economics engine in when you're doing the calendar and the stuff that we talked about. But then 2, it's going to be, oh, I'm a media company. And this is something that is going to do it. Now, I've seen content creators do this out of the gate and they grow faster than ever before. And it validates the type of individuals that would normally view meme content on short form, but also bring them into a long form setting. And you're seeing that right now. Why not want to boost that even more, right? And some of those just is around the ideas that couldn't validate a segment in a video because it doesn't make sense. And then 2, but it screams to the culture. So that's my prediction, guaranteed. That will happen whether you accept it or not. Angelia, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just because I know my peeps, and you fit the vein right now. And if you're super nerdy, it's just like on this other side, that is the next iteration. Once you get the processes and systems, the deadlines in place, and the team, and that's what you're doing for sure. So, am I wrong?
No, you're not
trust
wrong.
Me, my whole job is trying to take away or give her more time back, but she always finds a way to make that time somewhere else. She always finds a way to get more. It's more
about the inner need, desire to create, right?
Yeah.
You can give her time back, but like that's why she speaks so much into the content. Oh, I can make it better. I can make it better. I can make it better. So once we get over that, where it's like, oh no, this has all the elements that we need. Yeah, we can make it better, but we're going to learn from the data to make it better. But I need to create, and that's why she's making it better. It's just it's that kick of, oh, I need to make it better, and we're gonna go reshoot this or whatever. Sounds very familiar.
Maybe we can have an intervention one day.
Everyone sits you down.
It's coming. It's coming.
The biggest headache, trust me.
That's right. Okay, Britton's asking, what was the most valuable question you asked and then researched to understand your audience?
Ooh, valuable question I asked.
I think value proposition, no?
Valuable question I asked. You know what? I think it's not really asked, but it was more like someone, Daryl pretty much told me, but like, it's essentially like, who do you even want watching your videos? Like, and like once I kind of like clicked that, where it's like, who do I want to make videos for? Like, who is my even like my dream audience? Like, if I could literally make videos for anyone, and if even only like 500 people watched it, who would I make videos for, and how would I make those? And then once I kind of like clicked that, I kind of just realized, okay, I can do it. I can essentially like I can sacrifice everything else because I know that this person is out there. And like that was actually a worry for me for a while, where it's like, what if no one is like me? Like, what if no one likes my humor? What if no one is like all this stuff? Like I was so worried. I was so in my head that no one was gonna watch my stuff anymore. But as soon as like I just realized like I need to make content for like the stuff I want to see and what I want to watch and like what my ideal viewer would watch, that I would say that was probably the biggest shift, like the biggest aha.
Yeah, I would say the best way to validate, you know, I wouldn't say the research. I think the research will speak for itself. I think you can go through the comments and start seeing people because like what they comment on brings value. But keep in mind, those are the only ones that actually spoke up. And that's a very small percentage. So you can't just say, oh, this is what they want. Like how many video ideas that people say, oh, my audience wants this. It's like one person that said that. And you're like, oh, okay,
Clear hot dog.
I need to make this content. And you're like, no, like, no, like you gotta put it through a test. Right. But I would say it's like invite people in, don't speak at people, connect with people. Okay. And like once you do it, so it's like, it could be, hey, this is a meme that, really makes me just kind of blow my mind out and makes me so funny. And you show the meme, whatever, and you have that clip or it leads to a segment. And it's just asking where, the thing, what is your craziest meme? And just asking that question, people will leave a comment. And it's just like, it starts to give you clarity of the people that feel like they're a part of what you're creating. Right. And then two, once you get, be hypersensitive to any threads that are happening. Those are conversations that are happening. And then two, where the weight of some of these comments are. The moment that it speaks to someone, they call it out, they either quote it or time code it. I'm always leaning into that just so that I know, because like it's generally an interaction and that validates so on, but it's not a demographic question. Like I don't look at demographics at all in the sense of understanding it's a psychological connection. Like if it's a psychological question, it gives you more clarity. And then the demographic is the way that you communicate that clarity. And that's the way it is. Like, well, if you're creating content, how I would create content psychologically for someone that meets the same means for a boomer, I would approach it differently than someone that's a Gen 8 or a Gen Zer, right? Yeah. However, psychologically, they might have the same need or that desire. And so for me, I like to have conversations in videos and also use the community tab, like literally having, a thing. One of my favorite thing was we have a student of mine, one of the talented YouTubers, his name's Sean Kerr, does bikes and beards. And we were sitting around, I'm like, how many people do you think actually own a motorcycle that watch your channel? And they might have previously owned it, but they're actually owning it and riding it right now. And we just put a survey out, and it was so revealing that there's a lot of people that had a bike, or want a bike, but don't currently have a bike. But then too, there's a lot of them that actually drive at least once a week, and so having that information, it kind of connects with you on a deeper level of how to communicate. So really, really great question. All right. Is it curiosity a personality trait or a skill that is a train? What am I? Train Blake? I don't know what that is.
So is curiosity like as in like, I'm assuming like curiosity for like learning more about YouTube?
I think it's a human thing. Like humans are curious by nature. I don't think it's a personality trait. It's like if you understand what makes people tick, then you know how to trigger them. So this is a perfect example. I have a brother named David, and he's I would say he's wired differently, and we could trigger him as a kid because he had his baseball card collection, and if we just moved it out of order, it would just drive him freaking batty. So we just move it out of order, and he's like, no, that's not the order that need to be in, and it would mess up his day. But it's like like there's ways that you can trigger people. One of the biggest ways for humans is curiosity. Curiosity always leans to the click. And so I definitely would say, what would make something more clickable? And when you bring in that curiosity factor of what's going to happen, or what is the most, you can pull in any video that you want, but it's like, what is the most abandoned, places in the United States? I'm very curious on that. And you're like, okay, what is that? And it kind of leans into that value prop, but this is great.
I would also say, like, not answering the question kind of like maybe how it was meant to be, but like maybe if they're kind of asking like me being curious about like learning more, like, and that leading to me like learning more about like stuff, I would say like I actually learned a lot of stuff really clicked in for me when I realized that YouTube and creativity is not just a curiosity, but it's actually just pattern recognition. It's understanding like, hey, I see this thing and I like it, so I'm gonna mentally download it essentially. Or how we have it is that we have a Discord with just us in it, and I have it sectioned out with like thumbnails I love, or edits I love, and every time I run across something, anytime in any moment of my life, I will grab it, I'll throw it in there, so that when I need to pull from like like I'm thinking about edits, or I'm thinking about being curious about all this other stuff, like I can just go through my plethora of ideas there.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
All of the,
yeah,
I do. Now we can answer all of it, where it's like I have my point too.
Yes.
Now, where it's like, if the way I kind of interpreted the question was that way we can cover all of it, so we can answer it somewhere in between there. But the way I kind of see it is more like your curiosity is going to be based off of like more of passion.
Yeah.
So whatever you're passionate about, or whatever you have passion towards, you're going to be like inherently curious about that thing. Like for me, I'm a bodybuilder. So if I go to the gym and I talk to somebody about bodybuilding things, I promise you I'm asking you the most questions possible. If Angelia finds out you're a social media creator, I promise you she's going to ask you a bunch of questions. But if you're like doing something and it's just like something you're not passionate about, generally you're not going to be more curious. Unless if you're more of a people person like I am, who is just a more curious person, then yeah. But like if you're more introverted, you're probably not going to be as curious. But I think overall that I think we covered all the bases with that one. Now.
I would agree. Okay, Valentine Station's asking, who is a creator that inspires you?
Ooh. Okay, I would say Ryan Trahan, no brainer. Mr. Beast, no brainer. I would also say like a lot of people that I've become friends with has been huge. Like Yikes, King Sam a lot, Divinity. Yeah. Oh, Divinity is awesome. My friend Jonah, who runs Chess Page One. Those people really inspire me. I would also say smaller creators really inspire me, because when you get too big and sometimes you get too bloated, you don't try stuff, you don't test stuff, you're not bold with the way you want to do things. I love clicking in on a video that has 10 views posted like 2 months ago, and like this person this video is just their child. It is their baby, and they just put their love into it, and like that absolutely inspires me. Absolutely.
How do you find your aha moment? How did you find your aha moment? Did you have a aha moment?
Like starting YouTube?
I don't know.
So I would say, I don't know if you can find it, but you found it when it's like the only thing you talk about that entire day. It is the only thing you think about. Like every time you have that aha moment, like you literally, that's the only thing you think about. It's the only thing you talk about literally all day. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, like you're so hype about it. It's hard to, you can tell based off of the reaction, but I don't know if you have something.
Yeah, I would say for her, multiple stages of aha moments, right? As of late was, oh wait, the audience is just like me when I was a kid, and they actually like this. I mean, I'm not weird. Like there are people that actually think the same way I do. But I don't know, Angelia, what do you think?
I would say, there's definitely different aha moments in every step. Like I know, like I have an aha moment with ideas too. Like I know when I found a banger idea, when like the feeling in my chest is like, oh my God, how has no one done this before? And like, I need to get this done before someone else does this idea. And I know I have a good idea. So that's like an aha moment. Or like the thumbnail, when I just like look at the thumbnail, I'm like, it's, like, or just like little, like when Daryl's like, dropping facts, and I'm like, I'm walking around the house pacing. How did I not think about this?
Even when she started YouTube, like when she first decided she was going to go into YouTube, she literally sat me in the car for like 3 hours telling me about how this is the smartest thing ever. Like, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, what? Like, that's how you know it's the aha moment, because it's literally the thing that you obsess over. You get so excited over it. You just know.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen over your career all the time.
Yeah.
So Haley's asking, you guys spoke about how it took some time to go full time. When was that moment for you? I know that you kind of mentioned that earlier in the live stream, but if you wouldn't mind doing it again, that's great.
Pretty much full time was as soon as Wiggy got out of the military. Yeah. So like it was kind of do or die. It was a bad situation to put ourselves in. Like Wiggy was getting burn the boat. Right? Wiggy was getting out of the military, and like we were literally moving to Austin from North Carolina, Fort Bragg, and literally on the drive the video popped off, and then we were making because I was already monetized, but I was not making enough to supplement our income. And then as soon as that happened, it was like a shift. It was crazy. But I was already working on the background for months while he was supplementing our entire income. I was about to say,
we're kind of privileged in the sense that like we are married, we are like a couple. So like while she was making no money on YouTube, she full time did this while I was making money in the military.
You're called the sugar daddy, is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sugar mama now.
She's sugar mama. Yeah, she's sugar mama now. She take care of me. I'm a bodybuilder, so she likes to feed me all the time now. So, but anyway, but so we have that privilege, you know what I mean? But it's definitely
for sure.
I would never encourage people just to go straight burn the boats. I think if it's something that you're truly passionate about, it should be something that you're putting your hours in free time. Yeah. And then once you have it, then go into it. But that's more on the person. I know some people burn the boat. Some people like, hey, build it up, then do it. But
it's up to you.
Yeah, I think it's a personality trait. Like for those people that they need to be forced in to say, look, I burned the boats. I'm doing this. There is that mentality. But like I said, there's multiple types of mentality of when to do it full time. I think once you do go full time, it's just like, oh, I can do this. Why didn't I do it earlier? For the people that have delayed, I've heard that over and over and over again. And I'm just saying, when you go full time, it's the right time. Like, don't look back, just look forward. You know, like don't regret. Just make it the most what you can be. We'll do a couple more questions, but this one was making content on other platforms. Would shorts be beneficial to gain some traction while I'm working on uploading to YouTube more regularly?
Actually, Daryl, you take that one. I don't really have too much experience with that.
No problem. So I'm not gonna lie, I love TikTok. It's really, really good. If you were to say I have a favorite creator on TikTok, I don't even know who the creators are on TikTok, so I don't have any loyalty to the content. But if I was to explain what TikTok is to me, it's just memes, and that's what I get. And so that does translate over when YouTube did shorts. I still feel the same way about shorts, and so. Once again, there is some loyalty. However, that being said, if I really like something, I'm going to go see if they have a YouTube channel. Like I'm going to. It doesn't matter where it's at, and then I'm looking for the long form because if I see it frequently, I'm going to go deeper. But that's the way that I do go deeper. So I would say. Utilize all platforms to grow, because like I know I'm known for YouTube, but for me it's more about audience development, and sometimes your content resonates better on other platforms. But if you're looking for the overall be all, YouTube's where it's at because it's not a feed driven system. And then two, the loyalty factor is through the roof, and there's ways to monetize that you can't necessarily on other platforms. And so I would say, definitely learn from your content, but it's more about who you're making content for. The demographic shifts and also the psychographic shifts. It does change from platform to platform. I have had creators that really take off really well on IG, but they can't even get 2 views on YouTube. It's just like you have to understand the skill from it. But I would say, while you're doing it, learn and go for it.
Because I was about to say, Angela definitely knows about that. Because when she started, she was a TikToker before she decided to YouTube. Sure, it was Ultra Smile, but she had at least 1,000 videos of shorts that she had created before she got into YouTube. So she understood a little bit about content creation. So when she had to make her first short, it took her a lot less time to go viral than somebody that had 0 experience. Yeah. So as long it's like content creation is a skill, like anything. The more you do it, the better you're going to be at it. But you got to be intentional. If you're just posting content with no intention, you're not going to learn. It's not going to actually help you grow at all.
Yep.
But
so this next question is, what made you decide to finally do Channel Jumpstart?
You know what? It was Wiggy. He was in my ear like a little. He was just in my ear. But you know what? It's so cringy. But I listen to a lot of like entrepreneurs or stuff like that. And Alex Hormozy said something, and it was really like the final straw that like just broke the whole thing open. where he was pretty much like, if you want to win, if you know what your goal is, why wouldn't you, further yourself by learning everything you can from people that have gotten other people there? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it makes no sense to not do that. Like, if you really are about winning, then you should try to be learning everything from everybody, because everything, like, if Daryl gave me one good piece of information, it would pay off everything, and which it did.
It did.
Literally,
So
Yes.
one piece of very good information can change your whole channel and your whole directory. So that was pretty much what really got me into it when I finally decided. But I'll also say that, like, I did already have reps before I joined Channel Jumpstart. I did already have a foundation in learning. I think that there's definitely, like, I think that there's levels to it. And I think that, like, reading the book is a great first step. I think that's awesome. I think showing up to all the calls, learning everything you can from all the free information, and then also taking that step. I think that there's definitely levels to it. But for sure, getting those reps in and taking action, you have to be doing that. Have to.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I did it was there's a system. There's a system of success, and it realistically is like knowing who you're making content for, what you're passionate about, making sure that it's in line, that you can bring value consistently to those people, and then knowing how to analyze: did it work? Did it not work? If it didn't work, why didn't it work? Having some critical conversations. And then ultimately, if it did work, how do you replicate? And so for me, that's that plan, execute, analyze, and adjust. And there's so many people that says, "Well, it'll never work for my niche." I'm like, there's not a niche that it's not going to work for. It's like if you're going to,
yeah.
right?
I've seen like airplane niches
I've
with
seen
you.
It's crazy.
Book
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah.
Crazy. I like if you heard of some of the niches, like sometimes people don't like to talk about it, but it's just like there's a niche for everything. And then too, it's like for me, it's not about it's not about all the views. It's about the business side. So I had a woman that was 82 years old and only could get 10,000 views per video. And she went through Channel Jumpstart, and her goal was to have a legacy for her grandchildren, great grandchildren, right? And she was making $1 million a month by the time that we got done with it on 10,000 views. It's just like once you understand the components of what's happening, she was able to do everything that she wanted to do, and she's now passed. But it's like you can do this if you take a business mindset, and that's what I love to do. Is like take creativity, make it a business. Like when I tell people that come on, I'm like, you're not a YouTuber, you're actually a media company. You got to treat yourself as a media company. Yes, you might do YouTube for that. It might represent, and you can go from there. But if you're a media company, make different decisions than if you would as a YouTuber. And what we need to do is have stability, right? And so I love coming up with ideas of how to make that stability, as a creator. So let me do this. Let me do this. We got to give some tickets away. I promised that. And there's one person that has been on every freaking stream that I've done that should have a ticket. And it's not, the comment has no relevance to it, but I want to give this person a ticket. So, okay, Cody's not coming. Maybe she might. I don't know. But you are coming to not Channel Jumpstart. You're coming to VidSummit. Can't wait for you to have it. All you need to do is reach out to Chantel. She'll get you all the details on it. But you have a ticket now, and I'm really, really excited. I'm gonna give another ticket away because it was really. There's some really good comments that have come in over the course, and I always try to do two. And so on Twitch and Kick, guess what? You're coming to VidSummit. You can learn more about how to use YouTube. You had some great comments, throughout the stream, and excited to have you there. If you already have a ticket, we do not refund anything. You can give a ticket to somebody else, bring them with you. But really excited to get a in-person ticket. If you don't want the in-person ticket, you have a virtual ticket. So really grateful for you all being on the stream and going from there. So if you have any information about Channel Jumpstart, you can find it in the description below. Chantel's put some stuff in there as well. But any last thoughts? It's been a couple hours now, but any last thoughts for creators? Like your concluding remarks here.
I would say that one thing that has really really helped a lot, just like, because at the end of the day, YouTube is a mindset game. It really is. Like, it is staying with it. It's hard, it's challenging, it's also fun, and it's the best stuff ever. And I would say the only way you lose is to give up. And even if you come back to it, you haven't lost, as long as you just keep posting. Like, if you just do that, if you just truly believe one day I will win, but like, that day doesn't have to come immediately. Like, you can like, the process is where it's at. Like, learning everything and just being passionate about it, that's where you win. You win every day, just taking any step in that direction. And I would say, just never giving up, just keep going. Just know that it will pan out. It will pan out. I promise you. There's so many creators that have had your same struggles.
That's right.
I promise you, if you're working at it for 10 years,
You will.
every single day, I promise you, you're going to go somewhere.
You will go somewhere.
It's the law of accumulation.
Yeah.
It is literally like, it's impossible not to go somewhere if you just keep doing it every day.
Yeah, and learning.
Yeah, as long as you just don't give up.
Yeah, I think you have to be in a student mindset, a learning mindset, right? And then two, secondarily, I do believe this very adamantly, which is student mindset. Don't be arrogant. Realize you can learn from anyone. And then two, surround yourself by people that want the same thing. You do those two things, you're going to have the right type of conversations. It's going to be top of mind. And then if you're not applying what you learn, then all you are is a learner. You have to be a doer too. So it's like, you have to learn, surround yourself by the right people, do it, and then analyze and be able to be critical with yourself. And then also take criticality, just so that you want to improve, right? And so some people get so hurt. Oh, I put so much time into it. Why do you say it sucks? Because it does. It's the worst video of all time. Like it does suck, but like, don't treat it as keeping you down. Treat it as information to make you better. And so really, really grateful. And I'm grateful for both of you being willing to speak at
Thank you so much.
And jumping on this live stream. It's been fun. We'll probably have to do it again because we didn't go into the short form strategy. I know we kind of hit it on a question, but maybe we should do that again. So if you want to share, put it in the comments, that'd be great. But thank you so much for jumping on, and every one of you that are on, thank you so much for being a part of these interview live streams. I just love them a lot. It's been great. And if you don't have tickets yet to VidSummit, make sure you get the tickets. VidSummit.com. It's October 7th through the 9th in Dallas, Texas. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
See ya.